Off with that.
I will speak the magic words. Open sesame. I knew they were hiding it. Anyway, here's that deposit I wanted to make. Aha! What's this? The mythological Holy Grail? I won't be needing this for another 6 months. All this and more on this episode of In the Quarantine.
Man, this quarantine was a rough time.
Do you know the story of Orpheus?
Is that the guy that travels down to Hades?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I know this one. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay.
Everyone loves this theremin player, including, what was her name? Eurydice?
Eurydice.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they fall in love, and all is well.
So she's a beautiful woman, and he loves her very much, and he plays beautiful music for her, and the music makes everyone happy, and it's more than just that. It also encourages things to grow, and everyone loves this dude.
Okay.
And his lady walks off, goes into the forest, and there, I think she's running away, and she gets bitten by a snake. She was in a NordVPN ad. It was region locked, so they couldn't suck out the poison. And so she died, and she went down to Hades.
He named it after himself, which,
Yeah.
you know, that just saves time, I suppose. It might be a little bit confusing. Oh, I'm going to Hades. Oh, how was he? Oh, well, I didn't actually see him, but I went to his house. So Orpheus finds his wife dead and is stricken, so he has to go get his wife back from Hades. So he walks
The mosaic censorship is important.
to Hades through like a hole in the ground, I believe.
Yes. He goes down these thousands and thousands of steps, and he reaches the river Styx. And there he sees the boatman.
The boatman. I like to think of the boatman with like headphones on. He's not really that enthusiastic about his job.
No, well, why would you be at that point? Yeah, same old, same old. Arr.
Bold of you to assume immortals have the same priorities us mortals have.
What do you want?
Hi, yeah, I'm Orpheus. I'm a pretty major musician in the upper world. You might have heard of me.
Nope.
Okay, well, that's good that I reminded you of it then. Anyway, I'm new in town, and I'm looking for the best boat service possible to get me straight to Hades. The guy, not the place.
Well, it's just me, and you're not getting on because you're clearly alive.
Well, I mean, I don't think you should hold it against me. What is this? Oh, I didn't expect to run into such prejudice in this eternal lake of fire and sinners.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't mean to discriminate. I was some of my best friends are alive.
Where can you take me? What part of hell can you take me that's close?
Listen, you can't get on the boat. People need to pay me to get on this boat. You know, man's got to make a living. I don't know what I do with the cash. I don't know why there is a toll to pay for this ferry.
I would argue it's symbolic of the journey itself, right? You have to pay a toll, lose part of yourself in order to progress.
To be honest, I just take all these coins and I put them over here in this big pile. It's kind of like a Scrooge McDuck thing. Listen, I'm not a man easily convinced. You're either dead or you're not getting on the boat.
What if I told you that this was a mission for love?
I wouldn't be moved unless there was some sort of music that you were going to play on the lyre.
What can persuade this boatman, I wonder to myself? Perhaps a banging tune on my lyre.
Yeah, I'm going to take off my headphones. Go on. Can you do Toto? Africa? I'll
No.
like that one.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what every lyre player knows how to do Toto.
Rain.
Raining men. Oh, that's another song. That will do.
You know what? I'm convinced. That's a beautiful tune. I'm so moved. I'm going to take you down the river.
Terrific.
Wipe your shoes first.
Sure. What am I seeing in hell?
Oh man, there's a whole bunch of lost souls underneath you. Yeah, you get used to the wailing. Over there's fire. It doesn't go out for some reason. I don't know what else there is down here, to be honest. Last and only stop. Don't forget to give me a good rating on Uber.
Sure, no worries.
5 stars, please.
5 stars, please.
Surely it'd be lift as hell.
What, no tip? There's bottled water in the back.
I would have given a tip, but the whistle-stop tour of the adulterers lining up in front of a little guillotine really bummed me out.
Oh, sorry. So, you get down to Hades. Fee-fi, fo-fum, who's this?
Great Lord Hades, it is I, Orpheus, famous musician of the overground.
Who?
Don't worry about it. People know
Don't worry about it, it's fine.
me. It's okay. Anyway, I'm here for my girlfriend. You've got her, and I'd like to take her back to the top world, please.
People always assume like Hades is just this omnipotent, dark, evil figure because he owns the underworld, right? I mean, from my understanding, at the very least, he just does all the paperwork. Like, Persephone just kind of moved in and is like, cool, I'm here now. Hades just kind of does the paperwork. Thanatos is the Reaper of Souls? He's just the one that ferries them to Hades, for Hades to do the clerical work, to station people.
Thank you.
I don't think so, actually. Once someone comes down to Hades, they don't ever leave. And my wife's here to back me up. Oh, yeah, no, actually, you don't get to leave. And you know what? I'm a pretty big deal. So I'm going to have a second wife. And you know what? Her name's going to be Eurydice.
What? Oh, Hades, you're out of line.
2 wives, innit? Twice as good.
Oh, but she's my wife.
Well, I'm in charge.
That's true. But I feel like I can persuade you by...
Yeah, Hades is the chill desk manager that always gets yelled at by people.
Toto in Africa.
Awful.
Okay, alright, cracking tune. You know what? I think it's good. But I am still unmoved. But, hold on a minute. Oh, my wife. Oh, she's crying. She is moved. Oh, please, Hades. Oh, please, let him have his wife back. You know what? I'm gonna make you a deal. This one time, I'm gonna let someone have their wife back. But, special conditions. She's going to...
No. Hades would never cheat on Persephone. Persephone would have none of that shit.
Leave behind you, and she will not make any noise whatsoever. But you must not turn around to see that she is there. And if you do turn around, then she will be mine forever.
I'm just making notes as you say this. So, got it. Walking behind me.
Yep.
Don't turn around.
Yep.
Got it. Well, that seems simple enough there, Hades. I'm sure that won't be a problem.
Alright, I have to go.
Out through the little fire exit.
I believe he plays the lyre on the way out to try and guide her out, or something like that.
This guy is very self-involved, isn't he? He's always...
Every solution involves the lyre. Yep. It's like Wolverine. Every solution is the claws.
So he walks out. For some reason, he wants to look behind him because he can't hear her. So he looks.
No, don't look.
And she just is there, and then she just slowly gets pulled back into hell.
Do you remember what happens next?
A bit of a blur from here. I think Orpheus is pretty upset about what went down.
Sure is.
Probably plays a sad song on the lyre to himself.
More than just a sad song. So there he is, and it's driving everyone mad. If I remember correctly, women are miscarrying, people are killing themselves, crops aren't growing properly.
That is a bad song.
That's a bad song, and he's playing this way for days and days.
Awful.
And then eventually the villagers go, fuck this, and they decide to kill him.
I'm reading it here. It's a group of irate women, they've called it, which I think is very funny. The women kill him and cut his body into pieces and throw him and his lyre into the river. Outrageous. That's
a bummer.
Yeah. Poor Orpheus.
Oh, this is Prometheus.
I don't know if it's going to be trite to point out the whole problem with Icarus. I suppose
Icarus.
Greeks have never been up high before, and they just didn't know that actually things get colder up there, and anyway, he's flying along, and the wings are made of feathers and wax, and apparently the wax melts, but that doesn't make no sense, because it gets colder, innit?
You know, I've never considered that aspect of the myth. You know, you've got your time machine, and you go back to ancient Greece to find whoever made this myth, because obviously you need to correct them with all the intensity of someone in the comments who needs to correct your incorrect facts.
Ordinary things. Here's a new Pokemon, pulls out Rayquaza. What is all these Rayquaza comments? I'm definitely missing context.
Yeah, like a scorning teacher.
Exactly. Actually, Daedalus, or whoever told this myth, actually, when you go up high, it actually gets colder. Do you know much about
Big Think?
Socrates?
Socrates.
From most descriptions, he was just like a rambling madman who walked around with no shoes on, but everyone thought he was pretty wise.
There were people who were more rambling and more mad, but he was certainly one of them. He used to go around accosting people in the
philosophy center.
Yeah, and he used to just ask people questions until they submitted. Yeah, he used to go, oh, what's a horse? And they go, oh, I don't know, about 60 quid. No.
What is a horse? What is this concept that we know to be a horse? Why is it a horse? Why is the horse? How is the horse? Peter the horse is here.
What is a horse? And they go, oh, well, it's a big creature with 4 legs. You go, oh, okay, so is every creature that's big and has 4 legs a horse? Well, no, there's elephants and giraffes. Oh, okay. So what makes a horse then? Well, you can ride on it. He would just ask questions and questions and questions.
He sounds incredible.
Insufferable.
Yeah, totally obnoxious.
That's why he was executed.
Yeah, they made him drink poison. It was just like, I've had enough of this guy. It's just 2 ancient Greek dudes hanging out in the philosophy center and just chatting away, just like, oh yeah, maybe I've heard there might be war with Sparta. Oh shit, it's Socrates, he's here, act normal. Hey guys, ever wonder if we're all living in a cave? We're not, man. Like, this guy.
Look, I do shadow puppets. We don't want to see the shadow puppets again. Not again.
This is the thing about philosophy in general. It's all about like contrary knowledge. It's all about going, oh, you think the world works this way? Well, what if it worked like this?
I think the world goes a little something like this.
I mean, I think that's a fairly valid statement, working on contrary information. At the very least, I would say philosophy is introspecting and reflecting on information you have versus information you don't have, and potentially projecting new answers.
He was charged and found guilty of blasphemy.
Yes.
And for corrupting the youth, I think.
Well, yes, he had a bit of a history of that, didn't he? Allegedly.
Not sodomy. They mean like corrupting the youth's minds.
Yes.
By doing the blasphemy.
There's that famous painting of him being handed his poison.
He was like 72 or something when he died, wasn't he? I think the idea was that he figured, well, what I got now is further decline. I guess I may as well go. Boy, he's loving it. He's loving it. Chugging it down.
So this is what I've always been waiting for. This is why I've been annoying you all for so long.
Anyway, so I was correct.
Like, everyone's interpreted this painting to mean like, oh, I'm so sad. When really they're just like, thank God, he's finally gonna shut the fuck up.
On the left here with the curly hair, he's just slamming his head against the wall. Shut up, shut up. He's a little more tolerant. This dude is going, just drink it. Just come on, man. Hurry up.
Come on, man.
And then this guy's got his hand over his ears. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually does. Just like, this guy has got to go.
Anyway, so that's the reason why Season 8 of Game of Thrones wasn't actually that bad. Fuck.
Don't throw rocks in a glass house. Never quite understood the meaning of that phrase.
Well, I mean, you have a rock in a glass house. What happens if you throw the rock? You're out of house.
What, of glass houses?
Yeah, so why shouldn't people... I mean, obviously, they shouldn't throw rocks in a glass house to break the glass, but what are they... What kind of behavior is that supposed to...
it's a thing against hypocrisy, so a small amount of criticism in return could also do a huge amount of damage, because the person who's living in the glass house is guilty of so much.
I mean, yeah, this makes sense.
That's what I was missing. Guilty of walking around in just a t-shirt. Not completely naked, a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I just think that's more offensive.
We can do fables, right?
Yeah, let's do fables.
Yeah, okay.
New Fable.
What, Aesop's?
Aesop's and the Grimm's ones, they're good.
Aesop, I've always thought is just such a stupid name. Like,
yeah.
It reminds me of, you ever have a bad handshake?
Of course, yes.
It reminds me of that phenomenon where someone just puts their limp hand in your hand to shake it. You go, oh yeah, that's an Aesop.
That's that is because it's almost like an onomatopoeia because that's what the handshake sounds like as well. But Aesop.
Yeah, always giving me a bloody Aesop. Oh, I'm doing all the work.
There is, of course, the other bad form of handshake, which is the overly aggressive, asserting dominance handshake.
That's what you call a grim.
That's a grim handshake. I like it.
A short story typically with animals as characters conveying a moral. Oh, okay. I only know about 3 of these fables. Maybe 4. Okay, so there's the turtle and the hare, the scorpion and the frog.
For all you L5R players out there, all 5 of you, I am Scorpion, I can swim. And now that everybody in chat is confused, don't worry about it. Only the L5R OGs will get it.
The fox with the grapes.
Oh, I don't know that one.
You don't know sour grapes?
No. Oh, is it where the term comes from?
Yeah. Okay, so this is nicely presented.
It's a lovely little website.
Read.gov.
It doesn't even have a security certificate!
.gov. This is what the government wants you to read. Government-sanctioned mythology right here. Don't listen to them.
A fox one day spied a beautiful bunch of ripe grapes hanging from a vine. The grapes seemed ready to burst with juice, and the fox's mouth watered as he gazed longingly at them. The bunch hung from the high branch, and the fox had to jump for it. The first time he jumped, he missed it by a long way. So he walked off a short distance and took a running leap at it, only to fall short once again. And again, and again he tried, but in vain. Now he sat down and looked at the grapes in disgust. "What a fool I am," he said. "Here I am wearing myself out to get a bunch of sour grapes that are not worth, grasping for." And he walked off very, very scornfully. Yeah, so he's like, well, I fucking want it anyway. You bitch grapes,
There are those who pretend.
So that's where the term sour grapes comes from.
I didn't know that. That's actually a really good story.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense, actually, yeah.
Alright, we're going to look at some images, and you tell me which myth this is from. This is going to be like a quiz. Audience, you can join in on this one.
Mythbusters, if you... Oh, wait, that one's taken.
Myth destroyers.
Myth pounders. Okay, what's that? That's an underworld
That's was it the three crones and the thread, right? That is still Greek.
story, for sure.
Yeah, this is those three ladies, what only share an eye.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing that as a kid. I haven't thought about that myth since I was a kid. It's super creepy.
And so everybody's life has a string, and then they cut the string. What? It's no good. They've got the titles at the top here. Alright, look.
Bird!
Away.
I would have got that one anyway, it's fine.
Alright, who's this?
Oh, it's Thingy. She's got a box. I know who she
Is that Pandora's box?
is. I can remember, I've seen that box before.
Oh, okay. Look at this one.
Hey,
Who's this?
That's Medusa's head in the middle. So,
Medusa got fucking done dirty.
who cut off Medusa's head?
I'm not giving you any clues.
I can't-
It's in
I actually can't remember.
another episode in the field. You should know this one.
Oh, a real fan would know.
Yeah.
Perseus.
Yay!
I thought it was Perseus, to be fair, as well. Or no, I thought it was Achilles, excuse me. It is Perseus.
Who's this?
Old guy dying.
Yep.
Authority figures there. Lots of people are trying to kill him. It's Jeffrey Epstein. Murder of
Oh!
Jeffrey Epstein.
You got it. Next one. Who's this fella?
That can only be Hercules.
I would not be fighting a lion nudes.
Geralt of Rivia.
Add time. Nord, activate.
This is a message to everyone out there. Our privacy's in danger. We have to do something.
68% off a
Oh my god, he actually is doing an anime opening.
2-year plan. Protect
Heracles, not Hercules. Thank you for the correction.
your internet privacy. International content. Plus a free extra month.
Awful.
Not in the clan, it's just a hood. Let's fight for love, rock and roll, Nord,
Amazing.
That's Nordland. Get to the Nord, home Nord is the Nord,
Oh, you do. Okay, but seriously, how much does Internet Store need to get paid to make this a series? Amazing.
David and Goliath? I think that one's pretty good.
What's the moral of David and Goliath?
I think it's supposed to be about sort of overcoming the odds. But I've heard an interpretation by Malcolm Gladwell that I thought was really good.
Okay.
Have you ever heard this one where it's
I
like
don't think I have. What does Gladders say?
you've got two armies
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
cross from one another on a field. You're there in the Bronze Age. You're about to stab each other with these horribly blunt weapons and hurt each other and maim each other. And you might have 2,000 troops on one side, 2,000 troops on the other, and you're all fairly evenly matched. The idea is that, instead of 4,000 of us getting potentially injured or killed, we'll take our strongest fighter and put him on the front lines, and you take your strongest fighter and put him on the front lines.
Right.
And these two will duel, and whoever wins the battle.
See, that's really good diplomacy. I think we should do that now.
It is a good idea.
I mean, yeah, no, it makes sense. It saves the most lives in the long run. I mean, disputes could be rigged, they could be tampered with, meddled with, if you will. But I mean, as far as to save the most life in a conflict, I mean, arguably conflict would be solved without fighting, but it's not a bad way to resolve it. It saves the most number of lives.
Yeah, right. His argument is that actually David had a massive advantage all along.
Technology.
Yeah, well, basically.
Yeah.
He goes into what effectively a slingshot was back in the day.
Yeah.
So apparently, these guys used to be incredibly accurate with their slingshots. You know, they all used to practice slinging because they were shepherds, and so that was your main weapon against things that were going to eat your flock.
Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. And foxes and large crows and such.
Monsters that
Giant birds.
live in the backs of theatres.
Yeah,
potentially.
Mento.
Yeah, like really good ideas, IP-wise, just saying.
The other thing about a sling is that actually it's an incredibly powerful weapon. Like, you can very easily kill someone with a sling. They've recorded it's like the equivalent of like a 32 caliber bullet if you get hit by a rock from a sling. And so basically it's the story of a man with a knife going up against a man with a gun.
Yeah, the moral of the story is bring a gun to a knife fight.
Or at least wear a helmet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the lesson according to Goliath, if you take his perspective.
I mean, it's an interesting take. Like, I can absolutely see where he's coming from.
If David comes along and he goes, oh, you know what, I'm the toughest fighter from my village. And then Goliath's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you up, kid. And then David goes, oh, I found a stone. Look at this. And then basically hits them with the gun of their day.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you can't just. This is cheating.
I mean, that's why you set the rules in terms of the duel. So there is something to be said for Miyamoto Musashi, very famous Japanese historical figure, author of Niten Ichiryo, the one, was it One Path, Two Swords? Oh, no. The Five Rings, the author of that, right? One of the great military manuals, and I would argue philosophical works up there with, like, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It cannot be debated or disputed that Musashi was a good fighter. He was amazing. It can be debated that if he was a good duelist or not. Now let's take Sasaki Kojiro versus Musashi, and now there's different accounts of what happened, right? Kojiro was he was the washing pole, right? The large sword. And Musashi ends up showing up. Some argue he was early, some argue he was late, being late to spite Kojiro. But he hops out of the boat and uses an oar. Now, what we can gain from the understanding of how their fight went down was all Musashi was saying was, okay, you have a long stick, now I'm going to have a long stick, and thus your advantage is gone. However, thus we get into the argument of Musashi was a good fighter and he could outwit his opponent. However, in terms of the duel, he didn't necessarily use a katana. He didn't use a long sword. He didn't use another implement that Kojiro would have expected, which in itself is brilliant, but in another sense, that's why you set the rules, the terms, and conditions with, prior to the duel, right? So you can absolutely look into that, and I like this. This is this is why I love philosophy. Going with the David and Goliath example, right? I mean, you can tell Goliath, "Hey, I'm going to fight you. I'm the strongest warrior for my village." Goliath shows up with a sword and shield. You show up with a 38 special 6-shot, right? I mean, cool. I mean, in a sense, yeah, you're going to be the winner, but thus terms, conditions, making sure to set everything in advance, all that fun stuff, was a master of messing with people's heads, and that's why I love that man. Musashi is the absolute legend.
And everybody charge,
You're right, it was like set up like this samurai duel of honor, and this kid walks up and hollows some guy's head out in front of everyone.
Aww.
To be fair though, it's consistent with David's character. Do you know what he ends up doing after this?
Goes on massive bender.
He does do that, invades loads of places, becomes king.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so a bit of an upgrade from shepherd. He becomes king of Israel. And then he spots a woman that he really likes far away, taking a shower from his palace, and he's like, I like her.
Really?
Yeah, he sees this beautiful, never seen a woman that beautiful before. This is a part of the story that I've never quite understood about, is that he sees this woman bathing from his palace, so I don't know how he's managing that. But
Well, she's living in a glass house.
there we go, explains it, perfect. Anyway, so he goes over, and she's like, I'm the king, so you should think about upgrading. And she's like, well, actually, my husband fights in your army, so it'd be a little bit dishonorable. So David goes back, finds out who this guy is, sends him to the front line, and has him killed, and takes his wife.
Awful.
That's the story, yeah.
That's not so pleasant.
Yeah.
What's your favorite myth?
My favorite myth. Ooh, King Midas is one of my favorites. The king who wishes to turn everything to gold.
Yes. So there's a guy. His name's Midas. One day... Oh, who the hell's Ovid?
Oh, he's a poet. He wrote the Metamorphoses. Yeah, so a lot of the myths are sort of formalized because he's the first one who actually got it down on paper.
All right, so he retains the copyright.
Yes, exactly.
So one day, Dionysus found that his old schoolmaster and foster father, the satyr Silenus...
The old satyr had been drinking wine and wandering away drunk to be found by some Pythagorean peasants who carried him to their king, Midas. Midas treated him nice, 10 days in hospital, told him stories and songs. For someone governing a major Greek state, he's got a lot of time on his hands. Yeah. And on the 11th day, he brought him back to Dionysus, the god of debauchery and drinking, and then he gets a reward.
You may have one wish. And then, oddly...
Was when the Greek pantheon was assimilated into the Roman pantheon, did Dionysus become Bacchus? I think that's how that works.
He decides, anything I touch will turn into gold. Midas rejoices at his new power, which he has hastened to put to the test. He touches an oak twig and a stone, both turn to gold. Overjoyed, as soon as he got home, he touched every rose in the rose garden, and they all became gold. He ordered the servants to set a feast on the table. Upon discovering how even the food and drink turned to gold in his hands, he regretted his wish and cursed it.
Here's one loophole I don't think he thought of. Could he not hold something and then have the thing that he actually wants to hold in the thing?
They said that he was about to starve to death, so must not have worked. Otherwise, I mean, unless he's just dumb. Like, really dumb. Like, keeps picking up another apple and go, oh, not this one again.
I wonder if this is in some way linked to the magical gambit I made earlier this afternoon.
Dude, that'd be the worst. Could you imagine, like, testing all that stuff? Because I suppose you'd go, like,
You get, like, a Reese's bar, and you're just like, fuck, it's gold again. God damn it. Can't eat this shit, and you just toss it away, because your house is full of golden shit.
So hungry. I guess I won't use my hands then, so you get some chopsticks. And you start putting stuff in your mouth, and then it touches your lips, then it just turns to gold. That would be the worst.
Technically, it depends on the pact that was made, and if it's actually bound to your hand specifically or not. Like, you could, like, you know, like, get down on your desk and, like, use your mouth to eat something. I mean, it really just depends on the contract being made there.
Does gold just taste like pennies? Because it's gold, I assume it tastes better than the inferior metals.
Yeah, I think it's got like even less flavor than pennies.
It's just pennies. There's nothing worse. You're in a situation and you accidentally taste pennies because you know something's gone wrong. It's like, not the penny taste.
Hold on. So is he turning the air particles that go into his lungs into gold? Because you're breathing in bits of dust too. Surely they would turn to gold.
Technically, it's not you touching it, and I think intent might have to have something there as well.
Yes, so I think particles or maybe gases are exempt from his gold touching powers.
No, wait, his clothes, the clothes on his body, would instantly turn to gold then. You would think.
You would think. I think, as is the nature.
It has to be bound to his hands. I mean, like, why I love philosophy. If everything he touches turns to gold, are his clothes gold? If not, why? If not, how? Why? Interesting.
Nature of myths. I think they have to sacrifice a bit of conceptual clarity. And when you have a character like the Hulk show up, like, he's always got to break his clothes in the right way. Otherwise, you just would have to have a bit of exposition in every film of just like, oh, do you see the Hulk's cock? Yeah, it is distressingly big. I'm scared.
Exceedingly muscular, foreskin and scrotum.
The loophole is necessary for storytelling as well as everything else, I suppose.
Yeah. Bro, it's... No, never mind. Yeah, I'll throw that thought away. The Hulk's balls. Go on.
I know. Tell me more about the Hulk's balls. That's great.
Well, I don't know. Is it regenerative? If you got, like, circumcised as a kid or something, does it grow back?
I would...
Technically, yes. I mean, as long as the genetic coding is still there, I would assume so, yeah.
Does the Hulk have regenerative powers, or is he just super strong?
Is that what happens to Wolverine, though?
Yeah, I mean, you can almost certainly suggest that Wolverine is uncircumcised.
In a version told by Nathaniel Hawthorne, Midas's daughter...
Oh.
Wait a minute. Is the daughter thing not in the original?
King Midas's daughter is not canon.
What the fuck? In the version told by Nathaniel Hawthorne in the Wonder Book for Boys and Girls. That's nice. That's a nice title.
That's so wholesome.
The Wonder Book. And Midas's daughter came to him, upset about the roses, and that had lost their fragrance and became hard. And when he reached out to comfort her, found that he touched his daughter, and she turned soon to. So that.
Yep. It's it has to be at that point, like if I had this power tomorrow where everything I touch turned to gold, you bet I'm figuring out what the limitations of that are. How can I use it? When can I use it? What's the pattern in using it? How can I avoid it? How can I potentially, use it in certain instances, but in other instances not use it? Like, that is just problem solving at its finest.
Version of the story.
It's from 1852. Didn't know that. Honestly, that's a genuine improvement.
Yeah, it's kind of like the peak of the conflict in the story.
Yeah, it's good. It's way better storytelling. Well done, Nathaniel Hawthorne. You've improved the classic. You say we should write a wonder book for girls and boys.
We should get Nathaniel in on it.
The wonder book for e-girls and incels.
That's not bad.
A wonder book for e-girls and incels. As approved by the internet historian, that's canon now, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Midas didn't do anything wrong. He shouldn't really be punished forever.
No, disagree.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Midas did so, and when he touched the waters, the power flowed into the river, and the river sands turned into gold. This explained why the river Pactolus was so rich in gold.
We were wrong this whole time. This isn't a story about, like, not being materialistic. It's just a story about why there's gold in the river.
Yeah, I love that idea. Like, Ovid shows up.
Yeah.
He's like, what? That's what you took from the story? No, I was explaining why I'm holding this gold pan. Up to my ankles.
I feel like this myth is just constantly misunderstood. It is about properly checking for loopholes in whatever agreement you make.
I mean, clearly, if he touches something with his hands, they will turn to gold. However, as Chad points out with gloves, if you touch it vicariously through something else. So for example, if I were to... Sure, I can say I'm removing something from the oven and I'm using tongs, right? If I touch the tongs are gold, but me holding the tongs, touching whatever's in the oven, bringing it out, does not turn whatever I'm bringing it out gold. Right? It's vicariously touching something through something else. It's 1 degree of separation, not multiple degrees of separation. That's the one.
Greedy, but be smartly greedy.
If King Midas had gone to his attorney and said, I just want you to maybe look at this witch and see if there might be anything that might backfire dramatically.
You're allowed to put caveats with your wish, right? So surely you could get around all of this stuff by just adding a clause that says, in the way that I hope for and the desired results expect.
That's great. That is the perfect magic wish loophole avoider. That's what King Midas should have done.
Yep, he should have talked to us first.
Exactly. He should have consulted us.
I'm sure there's practical uses for it, though. Like, if you were... No, hold on. There must be one practical use of being able to immediately turn something into gold.
I'm trying to think.
So hear me out, right? Your boss, hey, I need you to get this done for me today, right? Mew. Watame smirk. You go into your heavy machinery equipment, right? And you don't like your boss at this point, right? You touch the machine, you turn it to gold, the supports crack. Well, I mean, supports would be gold as well, but I mean, you've turned your heavy, multi-$100,000 piece of machinery into gold, and when someone's like, what the hell are you doing? Okay, my boss told me to do it. Suddenly you're in a good position.
Because the main thing is to have a lot of gold.
Okay, I've got one.
I'm impressed that you've got even one, because I've been trying to think of one.
You're at war with the Japanese.
Not again.
Okay,
Not again.
No. You're at war, and you decide to hire some Japanese ninjas.
Cool.
You could take out some parchment and cut it into shuriken or whatever they're...
Shurikens. Yeah.
Shaped stars, and then have Midas go swing over them, and then you could probably still throw them.
Except that gold is incredibly malleable, and it is a soft metal.
Shall we wrap it up there? We need we need a bit of an outro in it.
Yeah. Oh. Let's do something brave and original.
Well, I'm about to jump into my Hindenburg 2 and float away.
I'm gonna go sleep in my glass house, unlike all you losers who can't even be seen while sleeping.
Alright.
See you later.
See you later. Oh no! Things, why did you put that massive antenna on the top of your glass house? No!
It's the only way I can know the truth.
The humanity.
Okay, I've got to go now. I'm being beamed up by 8G signals,
8G.
so it's going to be really fast. Back on.
I gotta go, I'm dead. But
I'm dead.
Go subscribe to Ordinary Things. He's criminally undersubbed. Also, get NordVPN.
Amazing. That was nothing short of amazing. Thank you for the internet historian.